Have you ever felt like your house was full of light, but something inside you still felt dim? You open the windows. You turn on every bulb. You try to lift the mood, but the heaviness doesn't leave. Somehow, the energy still feels flat. The corners feel cold. And your spirit? It just doesn't glow the way it used to. In Feng Shui, light isn't just about brightness. It's the breath of your space. It's how energy moves, how it warms, uplifts, and heals. But when the light is too harsh, too cold, or left unbalanced, it doesn't nourish. It drains. You start feeling tired in places meant to energize you, uninspired in spaces meant to comfort, and even in full daylight, your soul starts to flicker. And the worst part, most of us don't even realize we're doing it. We fill our homes with all the wrong kinds of light, then wonder why our mood, our focus, our peace slowly fades. In this video, we'll uncover 5 subtle Feng Shui lighting mistakes that may be quietly dimming your energy and dulling the way your space supports you. Because healing doesn't always start in silence. Sometimes it starts with how the light falls. You walk into your living room. Everything looks clear. The bulbs are bright. The corners are lit. But it still doesn't feel like home. There's a certain chill in the air. Not in temperature, but in tone. Like the space is awake, but not alive. Light should embrace you, not interrogate you. But when it's too white, too sterile, it feels like your space is trying to stay alert, instead of trying to let you rest. And somewhere deep in your body, you feel that too. In Feng Shui, light is not just about visibility, it's about vitality. Warm light carries yang with gentleness. It activates, but it also soothes. Cold white light, however, can overstimulate the space's aura. It turns your home into a place of tension, not harmony. When your space is filled with sterile white light, the qi doesn't ground, it scatters. Instead of flowing smoothly, it reflects too sharply, creating energetic noise instead of clarity. And you might find yourself feeling wired, even when you're trying to wind down. This mistake speaks to those who equate productivity with presence, who feel safer when everything is well lit, as if brightness means control. But the truth is, you don't have to light up your whole world to be seen. You don't need to keep everything sharp just to feel clear. Some of us grew up in homes where dimness meant danger, so we overcompensate by keeping every room too awake. But light isn't just for seeing, it's for feeling safe. Imagine walking down a hospital hallway at 2 a.m. The lights are fluorescent, constant, unblinking. Everything is visible, but nothing feels alive. You don't feel warmth. You don't feel peace. You feel watched, like even rest would be a disruption. That's what some homes feel like. Bright, but unnourishing. Clear, but not comforting. Now picture a small cafe at dusk. Warm lights pool around each table. Shadows aren't feared, they're invited. There's space for both glow and quiet. You lean back. You exhale. You don't need to see everything to feel completely seen. That's the difference between lighting for control and lighting for connection. One demands attention. The other offers permission to soften, to settle, to simply be. Studies show that exposure to cold, bright light at night can disrupt your circadian rhythm, suppressing melatonin and making rest harder. Your nervous system doesn't just respond to noise and touch, it responds to light. And when your home feels like a corporate office, your body doesn't know how to relax. So maybe it's not about replacing every bulb. Maybe it starts with asking, where do I need to feel held? Where do I need softness? Try switching one lamp to a warmer tone. Add a dimmer. Let the night feel like night again. Because when the light shifts, so does your nervous system. And when your nervous system softens, your spirit can finally breathe. There's a corner in your home you rarely notice. It's quiet, still, unbothered, but not in a peaceful way, in a forgotten way. The dust gathers, the light never fully reaches it, and energy, it gets stuck there, like a memory no one wants to revisit. Some spaces don't scream for attention. They whisper their emptiness. And over time, that silence grows heavier until you start feeling it without knowing why. In Feng Shui, dark corners are not neutral. They are zones of stagnation. When light cannot touch a space, qi cannot flow through it. Energy becomes trapped, not just physically, but emotionally. These forgotten corners become energetic sinks. They pull in vitality, but give nothing back. You may feel more tired around them, less inspired, or slightly off, without a clear reason. And the worst part, that stuck energy doesn't stay still. It echoes. This mistake often reflects the parts of us we neglect, our emotional blind spots. The feelings we store in the back of our minds, the unfinished chapters we avoid. We avoid these corners the same way we avoid our own shadows. Not because they're dangerous, but because we fear what they might reveal. But the truth is, what we refuse to light up externally, we often suppress internally. And healing requires both kinds of light. Think of an attic no one visits. Cobwebs in the corners, light bulbs that never turn on. You don't go there, but you still feel its weight. Now think of a meditation room with candles in each corner. Every part of the room feels touched, held, seen. That's the power of light as intention. You're not just lighting up a space, you're acknowledging it, claiming it. Studies in environmental psychology show that poorly lit, neglected spaces can increase subconscious stress and unease. Your brain registers these areas as unresolved, like a to-do list you never check off. And over time, that silent tension builds, not just in your home, but in your nervous system. So pause. Look around your space. Where is the light missing? Not in brightness, but in presence. Try placing a soft light in that forgotten corner. Add a lamp, a candle, even a mirror to invite more flow. Because when you acknowledge a space, you invite it back into harmony. And when harmony returns, you do too. Some homes look exactly the same at 9 a.m. as they do at 9 p.m. The lights never change, the shadows never move, and the energy never evolves. It's always the same overhead glow, same switch, same bulb, same feeling. But life isn't meant to stay frozen, and neither is your light, because when light never shifts, your emotions don't either. You begin to live in a space that feels emotionally still, like your spirit stopped breathing. In Feng Shui, light is movement, a subtle way energy transitions throughout the day. Morning light should awaken. Evening light should wind you down. And somewhere in between, light should reflect your rhythm. But when your lighting stays static, the chi gets bored. It doesn't dance. It doesn't play. It just sits there, flat, unmoving. Your space becomes energetically monotone, and that monotony seeps inward, into your mood, your motivation, your mind. This mistake speaks to those who crave control, who fear change, so they keep everything constant. Same routines, same brightness, same version of safety. But healing doesn't come from sameness. It comes from responding to time, to energy, to feeling. Some of us learned that changing the mood meant instability. So we freeze the light, hoping to freeze the chaos. But all that does is freeze the growth. Think of a stage with one spotlight. It shines on the same place all night. The actors move, the story shifts, but the light never follows. Now imagine a room with layered lighting. A lamp dims as the sun sets. A soft glow appears by the couch at night. The energy doesn't just stay, it evolves with you. Lighting isn't meant to be static. It's meant to flow, to respond, to live. Research in neuroaesthetics shows that changing light conditions throughout the day help regulate emotional rhythms, especially in people with anxiety or burnout. Light signals your body to shift states: alertness, focus, rest. But when light is constant, your brain doesn't know how to shift gears. You stay in one emotional state longer than you should. Start small. Let your lighting breathe with your day. Use daylight in the morning. Switch to warmer tones at dusk. Add layers, floor lamp, desk light, fairy string, not for aesthetics, but for rhythm. Let your home reflect time. Let your light respond to feeling, and as it changes, so will you. There's something lonely about a room lit only from above. The shadows feel sharp, the walls feel far, And no matter how bright it gets, you still feel suspended. It's a kind of light that shows everything but holds nothing. Overhead light can make a space visible, but without softer grounding light, it doesn't feel safe. It feels exposed, like you're in the middle of your own life, but not rooted in it. In Feng Shui, light from above stimulates the top chakras, the mental plane. It's useful for thinking, clarity, function. But when it's the only light source, your energy floats too high. The lower chakras, your grounding, your rest, your emotion, don't get nourished. The room feels lifted but not settled, lit but not held, bright but not balanced. You may find yourself overthinking, over-processing, but not truly feeling. This mistake often belongs to the over-functioners, the ones who live in their heads, who manage the day well, but forget how to return to themselves at night. A single overhead light feels efficient, clear, clean, but it doesn't know how to soothe. It doesn't ask, where does it hurt? Or, what needs softening? Some of us were raised to survive in clarity, but not to feel safe in comfort. That's why we keep the ceiling bright and the corners dark. Imagine being on a stage, spotlight above you. Everyone sees you, but you don't feel connected to anyone. Now think of a campfire. The glow gathers around your feet. You speak softer. You feel seen, not from above, but from within the circle. That's the difference between lighting for exposure and lighting for presence. Studies show that overhead lighting without balance can increase feelings of stress and disconnection, especially in intimate or relaxing settings. Soft, horizontal lighting, like table lamps or wall sconces, signals safety to the nervous system. It grounds the eyes. It calms the breath. It invites emotional closeness. Try turning off the ceiling light tonight. Just once. Use a lamp. Light a candle. Let your space feel low, quiet, close. And watch what happens to your thoughts, to your breath, to the part of you that was always looking for a place to land. Because sometimes the light we need most is the one that meets us where we are. You wake up, the sun is out, but your room stays dim. Not because it's cloudy, not because it's early, but because the light never had a way in. A curtain pulled too tight, a shelf placed too high, a window left covered for privacy until you forgot it even existed. And slowly, your mornings become dull, your thoughts feel heavier, and your spirit, it starts to forget how to rise. In Feng Shui, natural light is Qi in its purest form. It brings life force. It revitalizes every corner it touches. When you block it physically or symbolically, you're not just keeping light out, you're pausing the cycle of renewal. Energy becomes stale. Movement slows. Growth retreats. You may find yourself stuck in emotional loops. repeating old thoughts, waking up tired, even when you've had enough sleep, because your space stopped waking up with you. This mistake reflects our inner resistance to clarity, to being seen, to being illuminated. Sometimes we keep the curtains closed, not for comfort, but for self-protection. We fear what light might reveal. The dust we've ignored, the grief we haven't faced, the longing we buried. But hiding from light also means hiding from renewal. And healing needs both darkness and dawn. Imagine a plant sitting by the window, but the blinds are always shut. It grows slowly, unevenly. It leans, it fades, not from lack of care, but lack of sun. Now imagine pulling those blinds back, letting the sun spill in, the leaves stretch, the color returns. That's what your energy needs too. A moment of light to remember how to bloom. Natural light regulates circadian rhythms, boosts serotonin, and supports emotional balance. Blocking it over time can lead to sluggishness, low mood, and even mild depression. Your body responds to sunlight the way soil responds to rain, with quiet, essential nourishment. Tomorrow morning, before you reach for your phone, reach for your curtain, pull it back, open a window, let the day touch you, even just for a moment, even if you're not ready, because healing doesn't always ask for effort. Sometimes it only asks for permission to enter. So maybe it's not just about changing the light bulbs. It's about changing the way your home holds light, how it receives, and how it reflects. Because when your lighting begins to shift, even just a little, your energy follows. Your breath softens, your thoughts settle, and your emotions start to stretch again. Healing your home isn't about perfect brightness. It's about noticing the places that have lived too long in shadow and gently inviting light back in. Not to fix, but to acknowledge, to warm, to witness. Your space is always responding to how you treat it. And sometimes, the most powerful shift begins with a single softened glow. If this video helped bring even one pocket of clarity into your space, tap like so, the energy can ripple further. Subscribe for more slow, grounded Feng Shui wisdom. And if someone you care about has been feeling dim or disconnected lately, share this with them. Let the light keep moving. Your space speaks. Wisdom listens.